So what is this YouTube guy what's his name?
His name is Joe Santagato. He's this young, he's like probably our age. He's like this young Italian dude from Queens, New York, and he does all these kind of like, not so much rants. Oh, they're kind of rants.
Yeah.
But they're just hilarious. Like, he finds all this stuff on the internet, just like stupid stuff people do on the internet and stories, stuff like that. He talks about it, and he basically goes on rants about them. And he does point out why these people are stupid, like just these crazy people walking into Walmart. Like, you've seen the photos and stuff like that, or like people misspelling their tweets.
Yeah.
But it's so far off that it's either your phone doesn't work or you're just really that stupid, and he just rips you apart.
Thank you for showing me him, man, because literally, like, I was tearing up. One video was so funny. I think that's why I was laughing so hard. I was wondering where he's from in it. He sounds very Queens. Now that you said that.
Yeah, he said he's from Queens, New York. So.
Yeah, man, that was just so funny, dude. Oh my gosh. But yeah, there's actually a whole. It used to be a website. No, I think it was an Instagram account. One of the two, and it was called People of Walmart, and it was just pictures of just rare sightings at Walmart. I think
they might have something like that on Facebook.
Oh, maybe that might be it.
I don't remember it on Instagram. I've seen like a compilation videos and photos of people from Walmart, like on Facebook.
Do you know what the general consensus is? Like, why does Walmart bring out the freaks? Why does Walmart bring out, like, or what do you think? I mean,
there are a lot more Walmarts than Target.
Right. Okay, that's a starting point. I have a theory.
Look, we're from Philadelphia, so Philadelphia has a good amount of Targets and Walmarts.
Yeah.
So it's like 50-50.
Yeah.
And, Philly, we have a lot of weird people.
Right.
Just like any other major city. But I live right next to this Target, and when I go there, there's like normal people. Just normal everyday people, families and stuff like that, just doing their shopping. And I've been into Walmarts, different Walmarts in different Philly areas, and they're just, the crazies come out. And I don't know if it's because because I guess people say Walmart's cheaper than Target, or Walmart has better deals.
Yeah,
or
people call Target Target.
Target, because they're kind of expensive. Yeah. That's why they say it like that.
I always thought that was funny.
Yeah, because they thought it was fancy or something.
Yeah.
But it's funny how, because you always see these crazy people, whether they're just like bums or just they're bringing in their pets when they're not supposed to, they're just letting their kids run around. And it's crazy. I mean, I don't know. Like, my thing is like the mental factor behind it. Like, how do you become this person? Like, how do you let your life go so far off that you're literally a crazy person?
I got theories for both. So the reason why there's so many crazy people in Walmart, in my opinion, is because a lot of these Walmarts are like 24 hours. So if you need like a punching bag at 2:00 in the morning, you're nuts. You're crazy. You should be asleep. Like, why? why you?
I don't know about that. Like I don't know. It's just like even the daytime. Like even like at 3:00 in the afternoon or like 11 a.m. It's just like you'll find a good amount of crazy people throughout the day.
I don't know.
And it's just like people don't take care of themselves. They smell like cat piss, and it's just I'm just like, what, like at this point I can't blame your parents.
Right.
Like, you are an adult, you're fully conscious and aware of your situation.
Right.
So I can't blame bad parenting at this point.
Well, my second part of the grand theory of that is drugs. Obviously, man. I feel like these people do meth, bro. Like, the kind of people you see at Walmart is just like you got to be a meth head, bro, to just be like. I remember one time I was just like walking in Walmart with my parents, and there's just this guy in all camo. I almost couldn't see him. He was so camoed up. And he was just cursing, just out loud, just like mad. But like when you're mad or whatever, if someone's cursing, they'll like say it once and they'll say it under his breath. But he was just like he was screaming. And
was he going off on somebody? I can understand if he's going off on somebody.
No, like he's just walking, looking forward, and just like almost like he's having a dialogue with somebody who's not there. Like, it's just Walmart.
That's what freaks me out too. It's just like the mental deterioration that goes on in some people's head, where you're talking to yourself or you're talking to a person where they're not there. Like, I have a lady who comes every so often at my store,
Yeah.
And it's usually later at night, close to closing, and like she sits there for like an hour. She gets her coffee and everything, but she's always like yelling and talking to this person who's not there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like literally, like looking at across the table and yelling. I'm just like,
how do you deal with that?
I just don't engage with it. Like, obviously, I treat them the best as I can as a customer.
Do they ever disrespect you?
Well, no, they won't disrespect me because the thing is, I kind of limit my interaction with them.
So they don't have opportunity.
Keep it strictly business. Whereas, obviously, she'd come in, order a coffee, give it to her, and that's that. And if she has any questions for any needs for, like, if she wants anything else to eat or something like that, I'll help her and assist her. But, like, in those type of situations, I kind of, like, leave it as it is.
Yeah.
And, like, just wait for her to leave.
Right.
Yeah. So at this... And, I mean, if there's any point where she becomes, like, hostile towards customers or stuff like that, obviously I would have to call the police and get them involved. So
totally, man. I don't know. It's always weird when you see stuff like that. And, I used to joke around with my friends when I was at Temple. I was like... Philadelphia is the capital of people talking to themselves. Like, it's just like, it's just, you'll see.
It's not that, New York. They're
New
kind
York.
of neck and neck.
You know what? You're right. I've seen way more crazy people in New York. But I actually had this idea for a show where it follows the life of this typical homeless guy. Right. And he's one of those, like, crazy kind of bums that talks to himself. Mm-hmm. But as the viewer, you hear the voice he's talking to, and it's actually a narrator. So there's a narrator narrating his life. And he's like, and so Benson was cold that night. He's like, shut up. Just leave me alone. And, like, people are walking by, and they're seeing him freak out. But it's just like,
you're in the point of view of him.
Yeah.
And, like, kind of like, you sympathize for him.
Yeah, you understand now that there's a narrator that is actually speaking everything that happens to him. But the whole plot of the show is the narrator is making him a better person. And he's making him, like, help people out. And he's like, and so he had enough tuna salad for himself, but saw that Sally was hungry. You know what I'm saying? It's like, over time, it's just this crazy homeless guy. That's like, he just looks like a typical homeless guy and the narrator, and they become, like, friends.
I feel like that would be an awesome show, like, comedy show.
I hope no one steals it. If you're watching this podcast and you steal it,
copyright.
I'm suing you.
Andrewcast.
Don't delete this out of the video. I should have said it. All right. But what were you saying?
But, like, I feel like, thinking, like, going to that, like, if there was an actual TV show, who do you think would be that perfect homeless character?
The person I'm thinking of is Dave Chappelle. That's like the person that comes to my head, Just the, y'all got any more of them? That kind of thing,
It's just like, yeah, because he's done a homeless crackhead type person bit on his show.
That's the character I'm thinking of.
Maybe,
Somebody.
For me, I was thinking, who was that guy? Jack Nicholson.
Oh, really?
I was really because I see you like I see Dave Chappelle, but I was thinking like Jack Nicholson, like the typicals, like bad hair, crazy, smoking a couple cigarettes a day, just like sunglasses, just looking at people mad and everything like that.
You know what? That's another angle I didn't even prepare for. So yeah. So, I was just thinking of him as being like kind of like late 30s, early 40s. Jack Nicholson's kind of old, but yeah, that type of character.
Like that type of character.
Jack Nicholson does look crazy. There's actors that just have crazy looks to them, or they can have crazy looks.
But yeah, they can even put on crazy looks.
I mean, yeah, but Jack Nicholson's one of those like permanently he plays the crazy guy.
Like he can do a good crazy guy,
which is interesting, man. Typecasting, But I kind of wanted to segue into this topic today, at least for a little bit. Just on the side of making your own stuff, because that's kind of what this podcast is about. Mm-hmm. Your JMH Media House is like pretty much taking off right now, and
it is
in the beginning stages, and it's cool because this is the thing I wanted to talk to you about, because I think you might have some good insight on this. Is like there's a lot that goes into a simple creative endeavor. Like for you, this is like a graphic arts like service that you're trying to do and implement, but nobody will ever understand like how much work goes into it, and everybody on the outside is always gonna say like, oh, like you didn't get that done yet, or like this isn't, and it's just
which
like,
I haven't had that done said to me before.
Same. It's frustrating.
What they don't understand is like, one, I'm a full-time employee.
Exactly.
I'm a full-time student.
That's huge. That's bigger. That's bigger than being an employee. Bigger
than an employee, because your education comes first, especially as a college kid. You need money, so you gotta work.
Totally.
And the thing is, you can't have your endeavors in the infancy stage overcome your actual paying job right now, whether it's part-time, full-time, whatever.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, you need those funds to supply this.
Yeah.
You're the only benefactor for your startup.
Exactly, dude. People don't understand that. Well, what makes me, you summed it up so perfectly with that. What makes me even more frustrated in that aspect is like the people who you receive that criticism from, dude. They've never done anything like that, and they never will. And I think this is such a typical complaint. Like people are like, "Oh, don't let anyone tell you what to do," and I'm not mad. I just want to discuss it because like I get that all the time from people where they're just like, you should really do it this way. And it's just like, yeah, like, if you were at the driver's seat, maybe you could, but, like, you're not. And why don't just do it yourself,
Right. Like, I've had people, like, they have criticized me. It's like, how come you haven't got these photos? Like, I've had people, this guy I've worked with on a past photo shoot, like, a couple months ago, and, like, I was taking a little bit of time of like, getting the photos done, because there were, like, 200 photos from the shoot that we did.
Yeah.
So, 200 photos is going to take a long time to edit individually, and on top of that, you're going to have obviously, I'm a student, full-time student, and full-time employee, and obviously this is going to take a little bit longer.
Right.
This guy was like, "Yo, where's the photos? I need it soon." I was like, "Yeah, I understand that, but you knew coming into this that I was a full-time student,
right? And
I told you that up front. Like, this will take some time, so be patient." So I've had those critics come at me, and I think the biggest supporter so far is obviously you, because you helped me push it, and I was surprising my dad. Because right now he lives in Texas. Because the thing is, he runs a huge corporate 500 company, Fortune 500 company down in Texas, and he saw my website. He found out that I started this whole thing, and he checked out the website. And he calls me one night. He's like, "Yo, you ever think of coming incorporated?" I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, just like file in the state of Pennsylvania, or if you choose to come down to Texas and with me down there, you can file in Texas. It's up to you." But he's like, "I can see this thing growing. If you put the work into it, and become incorporated." I was like, "Yeah." So it was a little good encouragement. But like you said, like the people who criticize you the most never been in that situation, or they've never actually seen people go through the process.
Right.
So they've never. You can't criticize somebody if you never experienced it. Like, I can understand it if this person has been through it.
Totally.
And has taken years or time away.
And if they're successful at it, that's a big thing.
Yeah, if they're successful. Like, if I see the fruits of their,
like,
of their work,
like if a photographer, like, firmed, like, a guy who made it came and mentored you, like, obviously you take what he says with a grain of salt. Right. But, like, some dude that from college that, like, he just complains about his job all the time, and then you text him, and like you guys are talking mutually. This did not happen to me, and that is very specific. No, it's really not, man. I'm very blessed. I've always thought this. I'm very blessed to be surrounded by a lot of people who very much are supportive of me and understand and would never say something so out of place. Right. But then you have somebody that comes and just tells you like, "Oh, like you're doing this wrong, or you should really try and do this." Like, if it's a suggestion, then be like, okay, but like. Some people, like, they have no idea, like, the weekend spent, just, like, just making a website. You know what I'm saying? Like, just setting up something with the client. It takes all day. I'm sure for you, like, a photo shoot, it's like, you got to go to Philadelphia. Like, then you got to you got to take pictures. The client's got to look at them. I don't like that one. Retake it. Right. By the time you're done.
Especially with shooting, like, photo shoots, like, I don't have studio space. It'd be easy if I had studio space. Okay, that's it. Show up. That's it. We're done. 1 hour, 2 hours, whatever. I got to make sure the client is ready, because I gotta make sure they clear up their Saturday, because I've cleared up mine. Right. 2, I gotta find a good location that would fit with that client, and what would they look like where would they look best? Yeah. Like, I have clients that look good in urban areas, and I have people in suburban areas and stuff like that, and cityscapes and stuff like that. So you gotta factor in all those things, and then also weather. And then like traffic, and then how's the day's going to go. You got to make sure every fine detail. And you also got to prepare for the worst.
Exactly.
I've had times where somebody would call out, or like somebody would cancel last minute, and I made the mistake of not having a backup. Yeah. So, and I shot myself in the foot before, where I'd have my whole day wasted, and I'm just like literally 9 o'clock at night trying to figure out, okay, we're going to do a night shoot when technically I was supposed to do a shoot at 3 o'clock. Right, dude. And I mean, I've had that happen with the podcast, and this person will remain nameless, but like I've had like somebody cancel as I was in the car on the way to go interview them, and like you're exactly right. There needs to be a backup, man. And that's a lesson that just life teaches you. But that's what I love so much about the creative process, man, and like making your own stuff, because like
you're learning so fast, and it's cool because you're teaching yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think the best. Obviously, it's great to learn from somebody.
Yeah.
But when you when you have your own niche,
yeah,
and you want to develop your own style, you're the only person that can teach yourself about it.
Dude, it's so true, and it's beautiful because like, you know, we're fairly young. Like, you spent your whole life in the education system and like pretty much adhering to what people tell you about your field of study, right? Mm-hmm. And at this point in your life, you've never ventured out and done it on your own. Right. So you take what they say as gospel. But when you get out there, man, and you're trying to hunt down your dream and accomplish your like creative goal, you're learning so much, dude. Like, and I love that's a feeling I'm addicted to. And like I'm trying to like break down. I've been trying to do that like just recently. Break down like what it is I do and why I love doing it. And I think that's part of it, man, is because not only are you your own boss, and it sounds like I don't make any money, but like you're you're your own boss when it comes to your creative idea, but you're your own teacher too, man. You're learning all the time, and you're like getting better and better.
The biggest credit that you can only allow is yourself.
Exactly, man.
And like I find it crazy. It's just like, especially for us, you graduated from Temple. I have about a year left at Temple, and we were both business majors, both in the business program, and for us, especially us not going into like the business world so much as to being more in the arts, visual arts.
I mean, mine was media business.
Yours is media business, so but mine's more visual arts.
Yeah.
And I remember growing up, like in high school, I always want to be like, you know, work for some, like I was probably like a senior. I was like, oh, I want to work for this big company, you know, make millions, stuff like that. And then when I finally found out that I love doing visual arts and take that into practice, I realized like all those art students that I used to make fun of, I was like, dang,
I'm one of them.
I'm one of them.
Yeah.
And like, these kids, these guys in high school or college or whatever, even outside of college, like they put so much time and effort and days in and days out and like late nights just to like perfect their craft and to just display in the world, and then find out like somebody doesn't like it and they feel heartbroken.
Right.
So I understand where how actors, they go into audition and they don't get to play. I understand how you submit a portfolio to a company or like a magazine, and there's like, we don't really like your stuff. It's not really style. You feel heartbroken, or like, you enter a video into a contest and it's like, I'm sorry, you didn't even make the cut.
Right.
So it's just, I do sympathize for those people, and I do know what they're going through.
Totally. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it, man. And I feel like that's something initially that you have to prepare yourself for as an artist. Let's just call what we're talking about an artist. It's like you have to prepare for people not only hating it, but just like rejecting your idea entirely. Like they think it'll never ever succeed. And I was at a birthday party for a friend this weekend, and I ran into an old coworker. She's a very talented artist. And, I told her, I was like, you should do a show. Like, you should just get a showroom and just have a show. And she goes, I don't know. I don't think I should. And I was like, why? And she didn't say anything. Like, she was kind of like hinting at like what she was going to say next. And I was like, you're afraid that like you're gonna have a bunch of people like judging and examining your stuff, and you don't think you're ready for that yet. And she's like, yeah, like it's such a vulnerable feeling, And I'm sure you feel that way sometimes with like your photographs, like before you put them up, because I know visually, like, see what you're doing, like is a statement that is like interpreted on the first glance. Like I can look at a picture and be like, that's a good picture. Right. You can do that too, probably way better than I can. You can also look at a picture and be like, that picture sucks. So I feel like you put a lot into like your presentation, Right,
especially especially when I appeal it to certain people.
Yeah.
Like there's a certain like. Especially when you put yourself out in social media, there is a group of people that like they're kind of like the elites when it comes to your category that you're involved in. Mm-hmm. Like say making videos, you put out your video. There's a certain group of people that they're kind of like the elite of making videos and stuff like those people, like kind of like the higher ups, and you want to impress them. Not so much the amateurs, like the category that you're in. Mm-hmm. Like you don't mind their criticism,
of course not. No,
because
they're your peers.
They're your peers. So it's like, all right, you're no better than me.
Yeah.
But when you see somebody who's much higher up, somebody you look up to that you idolize, and they like your work, it's just a huge,
it's intoxicating,
huge encouragement. It's
intoxicating, yeah.
And I've had that, especially in Instagram, where I posted all my photos, and I'm actually having like these people and photographers hitting me up saying, dude, your work is great. Keep up the good work. And these people have millions of followers.
It's awesome.
And like these people are just like, yo, if you're ever in California or in Utah or Texas, hit us up. We would love to work with you. And it's just like, it's it feels like a dream. Like honestly,
yeah.
It really does. It feels like at any moment I'd wake up in my bed.
Right.
And like I would not own a camera or a MacBook.
Yeah,
let's go shooting.
And you're just kind of like, I hate those dreams, man. Where you have this incredible dream. Like I always used to dream that I get like these like rare video games like I'm after and stuff like that. Right. And I wake up so excited to play them, and I'll be like, oh no, I didn't get it.
That was a dream.
No, dude, it seems so real, and then you're just like, oh, it's back to my regular life. But see, I think what's cool about that is like it's such tangible proof. Like when you go into your direct messages and see that, you're just like, this is possible. Like I could go to the state and I could work with people in photography.
Right, like you, I know you personally, as when it comes to media and video editing and film, you've applied to so many production companies and TV channels and movie productions and stuff like that, where they loved your work, and there's sometimes like, I'm sorry, we don't have any spots. It's like maybe next time, try next year. Yeah, I've even applied to magazine companies and like big, media companies as well for my photography, like Hypebeast and Complex and stuff like that. Hypebeast is I love.
Is that your goal? I mean, I know you want to be independent, but I want to be independent.
But Hypebeast, what they love to do is instead of having their own staff photographer, they hire freelancers for like part of the time. And if you do impress them the first time, they will call you back.
Nice.
So that's what I love about Hypebeast, and they take you all around the world, bro. London, Paris, Tokyo. And they're like. Honestly, right now, they're like the center of pop culture and fashion, especially when it comes to like people like Kanye West, Jay-Z, and the hip hop industry. So it's just crazy, kind of like working for your, the dream company. Right. Like, I know you've always told me growing up in high school, it's like, I always want to be an animator for Funimation. I was like, dang, bro. He's like, Funimation. I was like, Funimation, Texas. He's like, no, all the way in Japan.
The Toei, man.
Toei animation.
Yeah, I mean, we all have these lofty things that we look at, but I'm saying when you get confirmation of that, when people like saying, "Hey, keep up the good work," like you're on the right path. It's cool because you have to understand that they were there at one time. Right. So if they're giving you positive affirmation, it means you're doing the right thing. Right. And I'm if we're talking about photography specifically, I'm of the school of like, I think Instagram is like one of the best things ever to happen to photographers, because it's like
their work is actually known.
Yeah, it's like the YouTube of photography. So if you're good, then it's like now you have a platform.
And especially with this new update that Instagram came out, where you can post multiple photos and you can swipe through it.
Dude, that's brilliant.
When that first came out, that concept, I only saw it with ads by Instagram or other companies like Coke and stuff like that, like big name brands. They will have those swipe ads. I was like, oh, swipe ads. And then Instagram released it last week, where you can post multiple photos, then people can swipe through them from like a specific time, like a birthday party or a wedding and stuff like that. It puts a new spin of perspective of it. And I've seen this guy, he's a photographer. He came with the most genius idea. He took a panoramic shot and posted it in that swipe text. So when you swipe, it looks like you're swiveling.
Dude.
Into one shot. It literally is one shot. And he split it up into 10 photos, and you swipe through the one photo. So it looks like you're like holding the phone and turning around. That's
beautiful, man. I didn't even think about that. That's so smart. Right. That's so cool. But yeah, I mean, it's cool. Like how simple that is, how simple that idea is, but how much now that it changes Instagram. Because like exactly like you said, like a party, man. Like that was a perfect example. Like you show everybody at the beginning of the party, like, and now it's like middle, like everyone's like hype, and it's the end, and like everybody's conked out, the house is ruined, like, you know what I'm saying? Like
the cops are out here,
and it's just funny. It's funnier than a video, because like a video it would be harder to demonstrate that in 1 minute, but now you can demonstrate a whole day. You can be like, this is my day in Japan.
10 photos.
Yeah, and just boom, just like your morning breakfast, blah, blah, blah. Like, that idea, as simple as it is to just lay out, now gives us so much more possibility.
And especially, like, when you're in social media, like, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, one thing I learned is when you put out your craft, like, as an artist, whether it's film, photography, graphics, it's also good to encourage other people. I've encouraged other people on social media, and they've hit me back, and they're like, since it's really nice to hear from you and encourage my work. Let's work together.
Nice. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, and just by simply saying, hey, I love your stuff. Keep up the good work. Yeah. It's like, they'll check you out. It's like, hey, I love your work too. Yeah. Why don't we work with each other? And, we're not that far from each other.
Right. That's awesome. I mean, and that's something that's not only prevalent in Instagram, but also prevalent just in the internet. The hip-hop community is like that. I mean, there's a lot of people that are like, yo, let me use your beat, bro. But then there's other people that are just like, you're a pretty sick rapper. Like, would you like to be featured on our track? And you can send vocals across the internet, and people can edit them into their songs. That's why, like, now is what were you about to say?
Like I was saying, like, even major artists, like, they hit each other up. Like, one person would be like on a world tour in the middle of they'd be at home, like at their hotel in the middle of a tour.
Yeah.
And one guy's in LA. He's like, hey, can you record this for like a day, like half a day for me? Of
course,
record something, and he'll send a blank track. Email it over, and they'll just throw it in, mix it up, and boom. Next month later, you got a new track featuring this artist.
Exactly,
when they were in a different country.
Right, and that's, I don't know, that gets me excited. Like, I'm not sure if that, I think it gets you excited. I'm not sure if that gets regular people excited, but, like, it gets me excited because I'm like, wow, this is the best age ever to, like, be out there doing your thing because the collaboration is so easy now. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how they did it in the 80s. I guess you would just have to, like...
You would have to fly over to the same...
Yeah. You would have to fly over to... You would have to fly somewhere just to make a song. Right. And fly back.
And it's not like everybody's on one part of the same record label.
No,
there's different record labels, so you would fly to LA, then one record label would be in, like, Chicago. Right. Or then Atlanta, and then you have to fly to all these different places.
It's crazy.
It's tiring, but now everything's digital.
Just to do that, yeah. And, I mean, even podcasts, man. Like, you could bring people in over Skype, and now's the best time to be doing your thing. And I guess that's my whole message and purpose behind Andrewcast is just to tell people, like, now's the time, yo. Like, the internet's here, man. Do your thing and just get it out there. And if you do it for yourself, I feel like I talk about this all the time. If you do it for yourself, then you'll never be disappointed. Right. Like, if you there comes a certain level where you have a following that you should do certain stuff for your fans. And that's, like, a level that I'm definitely not at and probably will not be anytime soon. But once you get to that level, then you can do it for other people. But when you start off, just do it for yourself, man. Yeah, and people that peep it will peep it. I mean, I feel like you just did this whole photography thing because you're like, I like it. And there's a lot of people who need it, who just want pictures of themselves.
Right, and, like, I've even had people that want to work for me, which is crazy. I was like, listen, like they want to partner up with me. I had a friend, when I used to work at Verizon, we used to work at a corporate office, me and this girl. Probably like a month after I left, she left. Right. And while I was going back to school and working, she started her own event planning company. And it's pretty successful. It's getting up there. She's done weddings, she's done anniversaries, parties, and stuff like that. And then we reconnected, and she saw my work. She was like, I want to partner up with you and use you as an exclusive photographer. Mm. You know, she was like, I love your work and stuff like that. You know, it'd be great if we partnered up. You know, if you know any weddings, let me know about it. And if I have any open spots for photographers at weddings, I'll definitely hit you up first. I got that, and then I have another girl that I know, she does photography, and I've seen her work. I was like, listen, would you like to work for me when the time comes? She was like, yeah, I'll do it. Nice. Because the thing is, there are times where I can't go to a wedding, go to the bridal part of the wedding. I mean, right, and it'd be more comfortable for her to do it. Yeah. But, like, it'd also be good to have, like, a staff photographer, like, have a staff of photographers where, totally, you know, if we have multiple shoots in one day and I can't make it to all of them, I was like, all right, hey, you do this and you get a cut of that. You do this one over there and you get a cut of that.
Two heads are better than one. I mean, it's like
you're killing two birds with one stone.
Yeah, it's like our failed summer landscaping business, and I feel like everyone does that.
You want to share with the people our landscaping business?
Yeah, man. I mean, it was called Bros of Garden Hose. I'm not proud of it. I mean, it's funny.
We concocted that late one, like Saturday night at Peter's house. It was all five of us. Right. And we just wanted extra money over the summer break.
And, well, I mean, and everybody does that when they're young. You know what I'm saying? Like, they go to somebody's house. Can I, like, cut your lawn for $20? That's kind of like what that was like our system at the core of it was just like, let's do landscaping during the summer. It's just like kids that go around and try and shovel driveways, right? You know, for money. And I mean, that's essentially what it is. It's like two heads are better than one. You're trying to accomplish something, and you just get somebody else who is just another hand, you know? Right. And that's what you're doing, because there's certain scenarios where, like, just like you said, maybe a male photographer is more important. Appropriate. Female photographer is more appropriate. So you just cover your bases, and the more you diversify, the better chance you have of just covering all your gigs, dude. And I think that's like at the core of a lot of business based off service is to just be adaptable, man. Just have different people for different situations. Right. Just like you said, preparing, plan Bs, plan As, plan Cs, man, for everything that could go wrong.
Yeah, it's just like, also you mentioned how, like, you know, you gotta love what you do. It kind of reminds me. There was Brian Dawkins was in a. He had this hype video made for the Eagles, like 2 seasons ago.
I love those NFL videos.
Yeah, NFL
they have like a motivational speaker.
Yeah,
now is the time.
It worked.
Yeah.
Which is funny because the name of the video that Brian Dawkins narrated for the Eagles was "It's time to work."
Time to work.
So he kind of goes into the quote where it's like this basic quote that says, "If you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life." And then he goes after that. Well, I don't buy that. I believe if you love what you do, you'll work even harder.
It's true.
Which is true.
It's true. I can tell you that what he's saying is totally true. Because eventually it will become a job that has a high demand and you're forced to deliver. Right. So it's going to be work at some point. But yeah, man. And that's, I think it's important that you said that because that's what a lot of people fail to realize, man. Like it isn't always going to be fun, even if you're doing like what it is that you want to do. Like the voice actors of Dragon Ball Z, that seems like a dream job. Right. But Sean Schemmel was just like, man, like when I'm screaming for 10 hours a day because of all the power-ups Goku does, it hurts. But he has to deliver. So he's exactly right. That's such a good quote, man. Right. That's a great quote. I was going to say something. I'm not like a huge quote guy, but there's one. I mean, this is for anybody that wants to like start creative stuff. There was one. A man is only the stories that he tells himself. So it's like, like you're
the only person that can define yourself.
Right. Like if you tell yourself the story that I'm an author, you know what I'm saying? Then you're more empowered to be able to write books and write good things consistently. You gotta take you can proudly say, I'm a photographer. Right. And I'm somebody who's starting my own business. Right. So I'm technically an entrepreneur. Like, you know what I'm saying? You could say those things. Those are stories that you can tell yourself. So as you're moving and operating every single day, like you're like, I'm a photographer. I'm an entrepreneur. Like that's and it sounds like very like psycho, but like that's the truth, man. Like that's the truth. And that's how you gain more confidence. Like you could say, I'm a podcaster. I'm somebody who illustrates comic books. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm an illustrator. I'm a writer.
Like people ask me what I do on my spare time, like besides work and school. It's like, I do photo shoots. And on top of that, I make graphic designs and do film. And like, I work with a friend. I boast about you all the time, bro. I was like, I work with a friend. He has his own company where he started, where he's doing his own podcast and web show. And it's great. And it's a great thing. We bring in people, we interview them, we talk about anything and everything. That makes this world go round. Yeah, just crazy stuff. But I mean, I brag about you too, man, because like, you're the other half of what makes this work. But that's so important, dude. Is just realizing what it is you're doing and the gravity of it. Like, don't overstate it. Don't say like I am the best unless you are. But like understand that you are somebody who is climbing up a ladder to be that. Like I'll admit. I was like, I'm not the best, but I'm getting better. Of course not, man. Nobody. The quote is, "Show me a great man is the son of a great man." You know what I'm saying? Right. Everybody starts from a place of destitution almost. There's few who are born into the greatness of what they're trying to do. It's funny. You ever feel like whenever we're still in our infancy stage for these two projects. Yeah. And sometimes I feel like I'm Will Smith in The Pursuit of Happiness. Yeah. Where you're just homeless, but you're starting off with nothing. Right. But you take the time off, you work hard, and you see not just for yourself, but for the people that you love, you want to do this for them as well. Yeah. That you would go in that extra mile and finally get that success, like at the end of the movie that Will Smith got. When the time comes. And I mean, that is kind of painting yourself into a corner. Right. For me with the podcast, it's like this is a very casual thing. Like I'm not sure if it'll ever get big. But like I totally understand where you're coming from with that. That's kind of like raising the stakes on yourself. And that helps you get done stuff too, man. Right. I mean, if you're unemployed and you're struggling to find a job, sometimes you got to do that. You got to be like, look, I got to put my family on my back. I got people who are counting on me, and that's a lot of the times how things get done. Right, and like I want to bring it to the point where my parents can boast about me. They do boast about me, but like I've seen it where I have like family friends or like their friends, their kids. They boast about their kids, all saying like, oh, my kid's a doctor or an engineer, or they're doing this in this country and this in that country. And my parents are like, oh, he's in school, which is fine. I mean, they're still proud of me. They still love me for who I am. But, I can't wait for the days where my mom goes around, he shows off to her friends. My son owns his own company. Right. And he's a successful company, too. Right. So, my son's living his dream. Yeah. owns his own business, stuff like that, which is great.
That's it, man. I mean, and you're holding on to. Let me move this for them. You're holding on to, a dream essentially, and that's where everything starts, man. You're holding on to an idea. See, like that's an idea in your head that you want to see happen.
Right.
And the more you visualize it, and the more it becomes real to you, if you match the work ethic with the visualization,
right,
and over time it works, man. It's the same scenario. Like when I graduated from Temple, man, I wanted to work at Cartoon Network so bad, and then I got that interview, and I got rejected, and I felt awful, dude. I felt so terrible because in my mind I thought like, oh wow, I can actually do this. I can actually go to the dream company I want to right out of college. But my realistic side was like, all right, so if that doesn't work, then I'm going to work at WHYY. And I really envisioned myself working at WHYY, you know, because after Cartoon Network like got cut, I was like, all right, what's a place nearby I can work by? What's a place? What's a place? Right. And I was thinking WHYY. And it actually took me a while to get hired there. Right. But I truly believe that the reason why I got hired there was because like I kept telling myself like, dude, I could totally work there. Like, this is totally a thing that's going to happen. I can see it, like, blah, blah, blah. Right. And it guided, I mean, and I don't, people talk about The Secret, like, you know what I'm saying, where it's like, if you believe it'll happen, it'll happen. Right. But it's a combination of those two things, where it's like, you see it so clearly in your mind, and then you start working towards that. Right.
I don't think that's one part that's missing. Like, The Secret, like, people talk about The Secret. Yeah. You know, they always emphasize the motivational, like that mental motivation. You got to visualize. Like, yeah, you got to visualize it. Totally. You got to put in the work. Right. You got to put in the work more than the visualization. You can't get hired to a company and visualize working there if you have no idea what you're doing there. Right.
So people are misguided in that sense that things will come to you, but the only thing that'll ever come to you is the lottery. For real, like that's the only thing that'll ever come to you. Right. And the chances of that happening are insane.
It's a 1 in a billion.
Right. Like, and if you win the lottery, then okay, I will admit that it came to you, right? Yeah. But if you sit at home all day and you visualize, you're like, I'm gonna win the lottery. Today is the day. I'm gonna win the lottery. And you go and buy the lottery ticket and you don't win. Right. You're gonna go and kill somebody. And no, all jokes aside, I'm not even trying to be funny. In the memoirs of Elliot Rodger, that guy that shot everybody at Santa Barbara, right, he was doing that. He was actually he read The Secret, and he would just like sit in his apartment alone and visualize every day winning the lottery. He's like, I'm gonna win, and he would go and buy lottery tickets and obviously not win, and the guy went on a rampage. Not to say that's why he went on a rampage, but it demonstrates mental instability. Right. If you're somebody who thinks that just because that you are willing something to happen magically that it's going to happen, you know, that's why I don't fully buy into what The Secret teaches that way. But it has the first half of the equation right, is what I'm trying to say.
Right, but they don't discuss the second half, which is you got to put in the work.
So much, man. In my opinion, you have to work more than you believe. It's just
that is true.
Yeah. Like he said, man, you know, even though you love it.
Believing is only 30% of the battle. Right. 70% of it is work.
You got to work, man, and be able to handle rejection. And that was another thing.
Which is funny. I wanted to go on that, but finish your statement on the rejection.
Sure, man. I'm going to talk about rejection real quick. And I don't know why we're having this type of podcast today, but I feel like someone needs to hear it. When you get rejected from a job application, it's okay because you never had any ties to begin with. You know what I'm saying? You were just like, what the heck? I'll put in my name and address and resume. You know what I'm saying? And you never hear back from them. Whatever, dude. You're out with your friends at a restaurant. You're doing stuff in your life. You're not sitting by the computer looking at your inbox like, when are they going to hit me back? Like, that's not what's going on. The problem with working this way comes when you get to the job interview stage. This is my experience. And, you know, you paid for the parking, you got your best suit on, you take out the time out of your day, you hype yourself up pretty much. Because you got to do that, like, to a certain extent. Not, like, look in the mirror and be like, you're the greatest. If you do that and it works for you, that's cool. But you're hyping yourself on the way up to that job interview, like, this is what I'm going to say. If they ask me this question, I'm going to say blah, 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 blah.
It's like setting yourself up for expectations. Right. Then you don't get what you get. So
exactly. So when you get to that point and you do the job interview well, and then you get the letter saying that, like, we're sorry, but we chose another candidate, or we're moving on with, like, our selection process, it shatters your confidence so much if you're not careful. Because what you did is you demonstrated your very best. And essentially what they're saying is not that your best isn't good enough, but like we're not comfortable with your best. Someone else is better. And it's, in my opinion, like from my experience, what happened to me, it's a challenge. And you can take it either one of two ways. One, this company isn't for me and I shouldn't work there. No matter how much I want to, like, I shouldn't work there. Right. And that to me is the false option. The other option is somebody got this job that's better than me. I'm going to work my hardest to be better than that guy. And that's the attitude that you need to go with. And it's hard because you don't know how good that person is. You know what I'm saying?
It's literally a Goku complex.
Dude, it is, man. I guess I'm saying that.
Because every time Goku finds out there's somebody stronger than him, he wants to train and beat that person and be stronger than them. Yeah. Every time. And every time.
Exactly. And I love Dragon Ball and we talk about it all the time. And I think Akira Toriyama is a genius. And, he said he wrote it for kids, but like, that is a really important lesson in that series. The character of Goku is one that you're supposed to, try and recreate because he's somebody who doesn't shy away from the challenge. He's happy when he gets beat because he realizes that there's someone better than him and he can get even stronger.
And he has a reason to train.
Yeah. So until you take that mindset and like truly believe it, it's hard to get anything done. But what were you about to say about rejection? Because we're talking about that.
Yeah, right like it's crazy. Like. Because I remember you told me, like, kind of when it comes to talking to girls, it's like you always have to be ready for your, like, the worst type of rejection.
Take the L, man.
You always have to be prepared to take the L. Because when you're prepared to take the L, it won't hurt as much. But when they don't give you the L, when they give you that dub, you're just like, well, okay then, let's roll with it. And it's funny, because that was when you told me that in Michigan.
Hey, man.
In Michigan.
It's true. Well, and that's true with a lot of things in life, and thanks for bringing that up. It's just like, if you can walk away from this thing losing and still be able to operate, then you're good. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should never be happy about losing if you really put in a lot of work. This is like on the topic of jobs. Like, you should never be happy if you walk away and you lost, But, like, you should always be able to walk away, like, with yourself operated. You can't ever walk away so distraught that you just lie down on the couch and you're like, oh, I can't apply to another job ever again. I just can't take this rejection. It's like the rejection's got to be like water splashing you in the face as you're trying to catch a fish. Yeah, it's getting in your eyes, but eventually, and your hands are trying to catch that tail. But eventually, you're going to snag. This is such a weird analogy. No, I haven't done this, but I feel like
this is true. Is there something we need to talk about?
I'm saying, like, but just be prepared for and I feel like this is like I don't know.
You remind me like Larry the Cable Guy. Well, you got to be ready for that water to be flashing in your face.
Right.
Grab that fish and pull it out. I was like, okay, Drew.
Whatever the scenario is, man, there's always going to be this pushback. And what I'm trying to say is I'm so long-winded. Maybe that's why I have a podcast. What I'm trying to say is eventually that opposition, that pushback, it doesn't even feel like pushback anymore. Right. Like Gary Vaynerchuk, you see that guy on Instagram, that crazy Russian guy.
Oh yeah. He
was like, I don't even, he has like the gray short hair. He said like, I don't give my losses time to teach me any lessons. I don't give my defeats or failures time to teach me any lessons because I'm already back up and trying again.
Right.
And I feel like that's such an important thing. It's so hard to do, but you just like take rejection as if somebody said hi to you, like as if somebody waved to you.
What is crazy, like talking about like quotes and like when it comes to rejection and different things like that. Like I just posted a photo on Instagram and it was in Chinatown, so I was like, I need like the way that I do my photos is I post a deep or inspirational quote by like a famous person.
Okay.
That is associated with the photo. Sometimes it's not associated, just something different. So it was a photo in China, so I did a quote by Jackie Chan. And this was actually pretty deep. He said, Jackie Chan, he said that don't let your circumstances change you. You can change your circumstances.
Yeah. Which
is very deep for me.
Yeah,
personally.
man.
That kind of stood out for me.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah, dude. And, it's you running the day and not having the day run you. Because anything can happen to you in the course of a day. And, you can either live with that, and there's a difference between, it's such a thin line. I feel like I'm really splicing hairs here, but like there's a difference between accepting something that is out of your control, which is important, because if you continue to deny like, no, like I can when it's something that's out of your control, like you can't save someone from dying. Right. If like somebody that you love, God forbid, was like really sick, you can't go up and be like, no, you're not sick. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
You can say like, hey, you're going to beat this. Like, you can reassure them.
You can
but
encourage
it comes to a certain extent where like you have to accept what is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But in the other scenario, just like Jackie Chan's talking about, like if you get rejected, you get a no, and you prepared for like an audition for like a part or whatever, and you didn't get it, you don't have to accept that. You can be like, all right, like I won't get it now.
Right.
When the audition comes again, you're going to see me at the front of the line because I'm going to be here before it opens. So I'm going to be the first guy in the line. So what Jackie says is true. And Bruce Lee said something, man. We're talking quotes. I feel so corny, but he said, yeah, this one has stuck with me since middle school because I've always been a Kung Fu movie fan. He said, don't pray for an easy life. Pray for the strength to live a difficult one. And that's dope. Listen, man, that's dope.
Bruce Lee has always been a very deep, inspirational guy. Like, he said... don't ever... I forget, it's like... don't try to duplicate your life with somebody else's.
Yeah.
Like it's something about being yourself. Like, it was really... Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Like...
If you can find it, find it. But this... Jay, you gotta listen to this one real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
One of his quotes that's, like, on a lot of t-shirts, it's funny because it's so short. It's just this: fear is for others. Like others should be afraid of you. Fear is for others.
Fear is for others.
That's it. That's the only quote.
That's crazy. Here's the one I was talking about. Always be yourself. Express yourself. Have faith in yourself. Do not go out and look for a successful personality and duplicate it.
Right.
So, oh my gosh.
I mean, and there's a difference between having a mentor, because that's important. I mean, even Bruce Lee had a mentor, but he's basically saying, don't copy somebody, man.
Be yourself.
Don't be a biter. Straight up. Don't be a biter on somebody.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Right. And like this one kind of pretend, if you tweak it a bit and see how it comes with the art craft and stuff like that, being an artist, it's like it says, Bruce Lee says, I fear not the man who practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick
10,000 times.
Honestly, for anybody who's listening, this can apply to like a specific craft. Like, if you're daily devoted to this one craft that you're good at and you can change the world with it, do it. Don't stop.
Right.
Like, honestly, but don't, like, there's nothing wrong with dabbling into here and there and like different things. It's great to have multiple talents. Right. But I'm more, like, personally, like Bruce Lee, I'm more impressed if you have that one talent that that I know that nobody in this room can do. It's the jack of all trades, master of one complex, right? And the master of one will always be more impressive, because the masters is better than the jack. That's comparable to another quote where the guy's like, if you want to hit a tree, you don't hit it 1,000 times in different places. You hit it like in the same spot 1,000 times, and it's just it's hard, man, especially in this age that we live in, Jeremy. Like this generation, it's like people have so much attention deficit. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially with social media, that made it worse, dude. Yeah, and like they don't know, and I say they. I'm also somebody. We're all exactly, man. Don't ever get it twisted on this podcast, and I'm speaking down to people. Like I suffer from the same thing. In this generation, we're so easily distracted. We will never. It's so hard to bang on the same thing every single day, because like we're just like, I don't feel like doing this. I did this yesterday, so it's just like that's another thing you got to bite in the butt. Like when you're doing photography, man, like it's a lot of constantly updating, constantly editing, like constant and like there's and on top of that, like, there's always these new techniques that you find, and you want to apply it too, so you want to learn more things. And like, you ever been in that position where you've seen somebody in that same field of yours, but you look at their work and it's like, dang, I wish I can do that. Yeah, you do. You like low key, like, this is cool, and then under your breath you're like, dang, man, I want to. Dang, how come my stuff doesn't look like that? I was like, and there were so many times where like you want to make it like just as much as theirs, but then you realize you kind of like track yourself back a bit. I was like, wait, I'm my own person. I need to develop my own style. Yeah. And it's great to, have, flattery is the greatest form of, what is it? Copying somebody's greatest form of flattery is something like imitation. Imitation is the greatest form of flattery, which is great. Yeah. But the thing is, if you want to make a name of yourself, there's always going to be a John Smith. Right. There's only one Andrew Arcangel. There's only one Jeremy Joseph. Totally. And you got to follow formulas too, though. So I understand that it's right. Like me, for example, it's
if you haven't figured it out by now, my main inspiration for this podcast is Joe Rogan. I watched the Joe Rogan Experience, and I'm like, it's awesome, and I want to have something like that one day. And I feel like the formula to doing that, I try and mimic, give or take a few things. This camera shot is more fighter than the kid. It's more just one shot, but. You know, you look at somebody that you love, and you try and take the same path that they did to get there, and you know. The problem is fighting, like what you said, like fighting that and understanding everybody has a different path. Like for me, I'm a comic book illustrator, man. So like when I'm reading comic books online, and like especially when I see like the artist is the same age as me, and like this stuff is like way more lit than mine is, I'm like, I'm like,
especially when you see the viewer count, like you have a couple hundred viewer count when this guy is the same age, probably doing the same amount of time. And he's getting by the thousands. Yeah. And especially, like, with my photos, it's like, I get a good couple hundred likes. Great. Well, I have this person, they're getting, like, they're probably the same. They're younger than me, this photographer. And, like,
40,000.
50,000 likes. Like,
a million comments.
Half a million followers. And it's just like, you kind of beat yourself up to it. Right. It's like, why can't I be just as good as this person? Well, and you got to look at their perspective. Well, that's because they're not criticizing themselves. Right. They're busy putting in that work.
They're just busy putting in the work. And the thing is, like, that thing that bothers you when you see that beating yourself, like, that's your ego, man. And your ego is just like you should, your stuff should be like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, or your ego says something contrary. This is a lot of people's problem. Right. Where they look at that and they're just like, well, I bet that's what that guy does all day. You know what I'm saying? Well, I bet, like, you know, he doesn't, like... He has no life. Yeah, he has no life. Exactly. Like, that's what the egotistical person says. Right, they look at that somebody...
You gotta... If you love what you do, you're gonna make it your life. Right. That's the thing.
Exactly. And that's the thing that... And it brings us full circle. Because those same people that send you those criticisms that, like, you should do things this way, or and they've never done anything themselves, those are the same people that look at someone who's super successful, and they're like, well, that's just what he does all day. Like somebody who works out, you know what I'm saying?
It's literally the guy in the gym who gives you tips.
Right? Yeah.
That's literally the guy who gives... Because the thing is, he's more busy giving you tips than actually doing his working out.
Yeah. It, you know, and you find that in every arena of the world. But it's totally common when you're looking at someone else's creative work, man, to just say to yourself, like, and you know, this is all they do. That's why. And my level of quality is just an example of my totally balanced lifestyle. Like, I'm living the right way, and that's why my stuff doesn't look as good as him. No, man, like the successful person, the good person is inspired by that. They look at that and they go, wow, that guy's awesome. I want to be more like that guy. Mm-hmm. You know? And that takes a lot of just defeating your ego. That takes a lot of just being like, no, I'm not the greatest. I'm not even close. Right. But there's a lot of people who can't handle that, man. And in hip-hop, that's a big thing for some reason. I don't know why. And it needs to stop, but that's a big thing.
Right. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's some new artists that are coming out there. They're only doing the crap because they want to do it for themselves. Yeah. But I can see, like, for those people that start off doing that, I can see some of them kind of devolving in the mainstream, where it's just like now they're pleasing the other people. Mm-hmm. Like when Chance first came out. Yeah. But now since Chance got all this, accolades and stuff like that in the Grammys, I feel like he's going to be the next Kanye West.
I was just about to bring that meme up. It was I think it was on World Star Hip Hop or Instagram, which is like they post 1,000 times a day, by the way.
Which I've learned, like if you
post a lot,
if you post a lot, you do get a lot of engagement back.
That's an Instagram. That's an Instagram tip right there. Right. So you'd have to like multiply your content by like 5 times.
Like I've personally found the perfect peak time for me. Like sometimes you gotta research this stuff. Yeah. Perfect time to put out stuff, but going off of you, what were you saying about Chance?
I mean, that's true, by the way. But just it was a meme I saw where it was Jay-Z. And he was like, his face was like super happy and holds Chance the Rapper. And the caption at the top said, "When you find the next Kanye West." And, he's so talented, man.
He is really talented.
He's super talented. Is he the next Kanye West? I don't know, but he's super talented.
I'm pretty sure he gets mad hearing it. I mean, don't get me wrong. He works with Kanye West and he loves Kanye West, but I'm pretty sure he just wants to be Chance the Rapper.
Right. Nobody wants to live in a shadow. Right. And also, Kanye West is such a bizarre character, and for some reason we talk about him a lot on the podcast, that he can never, ever be replicated. he's such a shot in the dark, man.
Like 1 year, he was doing all this crazy stuff, then his mom passed away, and he went even more crazy. This year he has blonde hair, he has a new line coming out of clothes.
Right, exactly.
So I'm just like, I just heard he just signed up Like he just patented his own line of makeup.
Why? It's just so crazy.
Which is crazy, but the thing is, nobody's stopping it.
Well, like, does he wear makeup? Like, that's what I want to know.
I don't know if it's for him
is
or
it Kim's thing?
I don't know if it's going to be under his name, but the thing is, I think he wants to appeal to women as well.
Hey man, there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
That's more money in his pocket.
It's more. He's an entrepreneur. He wants to do what he wants to do.
And he's got that video game. Did you
yeah,
see that?
Video game.
Did you see that?
What video game is this?
Dude, see now I'm gonna.
Is this
I'm
like a platform or like a mobile?
No. He showed like a preview for like a video game coming out, and there's just a bunch of like angels flying in the sky. I'll show you that.
Oh, that's crazy.
I'll show you that later. But like he has like a game, not that he's developing, of course.
Like I know Kim Kardashian and Kylie Jenner has their own like game on like the iPhone or the Android phones.
Oh really?
Like yeah, it's like the Kim Kardashian app or something like that. It's like this.
What?
Game. Yeah, it's weird, but they made a lot of money off of that. They made millions.
Empires, bro. Listen, once you start an empire, you just make clothing line, game, podcast,
music, fashion shows,
and people eat it up. I was talking about this with someone else the other day. I forget who. Who do you think is the most famous woman in the world? I'm saying
famous woman.
Yeah, it's either Beyonce or Kim Kardashian.
And I mean, it depends which generation, but as of right now, Beyonce.
Yeah, I'm saying at this time. Yeah, Beyonce. It's crazy.
It's Beyonce because the thing is, people knew Beyonce before Kim and Kanye were together.
Yeah.
Kim didn't get boosted because of Kanye. Well, Kim got boosted because of her show.
Mm-hmm.
But I think she got more elevated because she married Kanye.
Right.
Who was basically an innovator in his own mind. But people knew Beyonce when she was in Destiny's Child.
Mm-hmm.
And they knew Beyonce before she married Jay-Z. And it's not like Jay-Z elevated Beyonce. Beyonce elevated Jay-Z, if you think about it.
Right.
So I would say personally Beyonce. You know, I mean, not this past Super Bowl before that she performed with Coldplay.
Yeah.
And what was it? Bruno Mars. So
yeah,
she had a huge following after that.
It's crazy. It's crazy that this past Super Bowl performance, and we talked about the Super Bowl last podcast, was the biggest, the most money ever spent.
For Lady Gaga?
Yeah, it was the most money ever spent on a halftime show.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yo, did you see that Hurt Bay thing?
That
meme that's going around, the Hurt Bay thing?
Hurt Bay.
I guess we'll have to watch it off the podcast.
Explain
it's hard to explain, honestly. I don't know if it's actors or not, but it's like a huge meme thing now. Where like it was this guy and he sits down across from his girlfriend and he just talks.
Oh yeah, I see.
Yeah. And he just says like he cheated on her and stuff. You think that's real? I haven't researched it at all.
I've seen the memes on Instagram, but I never understand. I didn't never watch the video, so I didn't understand it. So I didn't understand the memes.
Well, I'm not going to spoil anything.
But yeah, I'm going to watch it. I see the videos right here pulling up.
But yeah, it's this guy, he sits down across from his girlfriend and she just asks him like, oh, have you cheated on me? He's like, yeah. And she goes like, how many times? And like, he just basically says like too many times to count. And then they kind of get involved in this conversation of like, this is when I first met you. Like, this is something that like really disappointed me and stuff like that. And I'm just like, ugh. And I watch it and I'm just like, are these people actors? I can't tell.
Like, I don't know. Like, because people, like, I feel like normal people or normal women would freak out and start to take the chair and throw it at you.
She exactly. That's my thing. Because we won't even get into that. But I will say this. Like, it's a self-respect thing, right?
Gotcha.
So you wouldn't
want to put yourself out there. Like,
totally. There's a part where she leaves and comes back. I mean, of course, like she has to be civil, but it's just weird the amount of stuff that she's put up with for this guy. You know what I'm saying? Ladies, if that's the situation you're in, you need to...
Please leave.
Yeah, just leave.
You're so much better than that.
Leave. I'm looking at this girl and I'm like, if you're not an actor,
right.
Holy cow. Like, you did that for nothing because this guy's gross. But yeah, and that's the reason why I think it's actors, because like this guy's face is now famous and it's just like, he's just labeled a scumbag, man. Like, forever.
It's like the Catch Me Outside girl.
Dude, that's what I wanted to talk about this podcast. And it's almost over. Hold up. No. We have 1 minute. We're going past the time a little bit, man. Yo, all right. Let me just start from the beginning on Catch Me Outside Girl. I've been saying this to a bunch of people, man. Catch Me Outside Girl is like the example of modern fame. This is how easy it is to be famous now. if somebody makes a meme of you and like that meme is internet wide, people approach you and they say, look, man, we've done this with the Numa Numa guy. We've done this with everybody else. All it takes is getting a t-shirt, and now we'll hook you up with the Vine stars, and before you know it, you'll have your own show. Before you know it, you'll have money. Bro. Just from being. And this is what sticks in my head. She went on Dr. Phil, and I think she's real. I don't think she's an actor.
Yeah, I think she's a real person.
She went on Dr. Phil and was disrespectful to her mom. And I guarantee her mom was just like, yo, my daughter's disrespectful. Like, this has to change. Like, Dr. Phil, like, what do you have to say about this? Now, dude, she probably openly disrespects her mom because she's making money off it. Now her mom's probably like...
I've heard, like, before the memes came out, this episode came out a while ago, probably like a year ago.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's happening. So that proves you can literally go back in time.
Oh, it came out a year ago?
Something like that. Like, like it wasn't recent.
It wasn't recent.
It wasn't recent. Somebody had to go back a couple episodes.
Yeah, just install
Just to pull it up. It's like somebody was chilling at home, saw the episode on TV because they got sick and didn't go to work.
Yeah.
And they made the meme. Now, another thing.
What?
Did you see the one where she goes back to the show and says, I made you?
No, I didn't see that.
There's a second episode where she returns.
That has to be written. There's no way she can be honest.
She said, I made you just like Oprah made you.
That is insane.
And
to Dr. Phil?
Dr. Phil had no expressions on his face, and all he goes, thanks for that.
Thanks for that.
And I'm just like...
Thanks for that, Cash Me Outside girl. I don't even know her name. Her name's Brianna or something.
Something like that.
It's 13. People are drawing. Let me tell you a little something. I was on her Instagram, and I'm going...
Yeah, same.
Dude, because I was so curious. I was like, what in the world does this person have to post? First off, she has, like, the Fit Tea advertisement, which, like, everybody does. Like,
every celebrity
Yo, I drink Fit Tea. First off, that's probably poison. Right? That's A. B, this is something I saw. So I'm looking at the comments in her thing, because, like, I'm expecting comments like, why is this girl famous? Right. Why? But, dude, the comments are like... new news on Brianna's boyfriend. Like, check my Instagram for details. And people are like, want to see what Brianna's doing every day? Come to my Instagram. So, like, this person who literally is a shot in the dark famous, now there's other internet sources that are dedicated to chronicling her life. And it's unbelievable. And that's their selling point. Their selling point is like, oh, do you want to see what she does next? Subscribe to my account. And it's just like, bro, like,
what?
How did this happen? And you rack your brain, and the hardworking people that are trying to get famous for whatever they're doing are like, oh my God. How? It's like what we talked about last podcast with the Vine stars.
What gets me so mad is, like, you don't understand. I have friends in high school that wanted to become actors. And they performed in every school drama that came out, every school play. They went to acting school, and I have actor friends that tried to move out to LA and tried to go on auditions, stuff like that, and they've only been, like, cameos in 1 or 2 episodes in random shows. That's about it.
Yeah.
And these people put themselves out there for 6 seconds, and they get famous. Famous. Because people have short attention spans, and they just want a quick laugh. Which kind of gets me mad as an artist. As a true artist. Because the thing is, those people who go on auditions and get rejected work day in and day out. Whereas any random Joe Smo off the street who has a funny one-liner can say it on a 6-second video, post it online, get millions of people to follow it, and then every major company wants to sign them before the other one does.
It's unreal, dude. Honestly, it's
I'm looking
crazy.
at Fit Tea right now, and, like, so many celebrities endorse them, especially, like, the Kardashians, man. That family gets me mad. That whole family does.
Well, man, I don't know. I understand why other people are attracted to it, because that's just the way our culture operates, you know. But it's a culture that I look at disapprovingly, but I understand how it works.
I've had this weird kind of like thing for myself. I was like, what if I did the most diabolical thing ever, which is cut off the internet? Literally, somehow somebody cut off the internet. Facebook couldn't figure out what's going on. Google couldn't figure out what's going on. Like, the internet just stops working. Militaries are going crazy right now.
Our world would... You're right.
Our world would collapse.
Our world
would
go crazy. It would be the equivalent of, like, there being legitimate news that we have contacted the aliens and they're coming here. That's how wild it would get. If there was no internet for a day, people would lose their mind.
People would kill themselves and each other.
People would... Bro, more. Like, I just feel like it would be chaotic, man. But that's like the source of everything right now, and it's the source of Catch Me Outside. Without the internet, there is no Catch Me Outside, man. She would never get anything. And I'm looking at these videos of her with like her bodyguards and stuff. It's unreal. It's almost like when they say like the truth is stranger than fiction. This is what they're talking about. Like they're talking about scenarios like this, man. Like
my thing is, it's just like, okay, they're famous, they're Vine famous, they're Instagram famous, Twitter famous, whatever. But in order for them to get famous, there has to be a certain amount of people diving into them and feeding their egos and, you know, following them and subscribing to them. My question is to those people, why are you making these people famous for something that literally they have no talent or skill for? Like, say if Catch Me Outside girl decided it was not famous, like eventually she faded out. She's not Instagram famous no more. She's nothing. What skill set does she have? Does she have a degree in psychology or something? Does she does this? Does she have a special talent? Does she have a skill set that most people don't have?
None of that, Jay. This is the part that gets me. Is she has all she has left now are contacts, and like powerful contacts, man. Contacts that'll take care of her. Not saying that Catch Me Outside girl will be taken care of forever, but like all she has now is like people in the industry who have like met her, man.
I'm telling you, bro.
Sway.
This might sound horrible, but I hope she ends up like Amanda Bynes, like faded out. Nobody hears from her ever again.
I mean, I imagine that's what happens to a lot of these oddities, man. Because what else can she produce? I mean, for now she's hot, and she will be for a while. I forget who it was. Breakfast Club, Sway in the Morning.
Mm-hmm.
You saw that?
I know Sway in the Morning.
Where there was somebody texted him or whatever and just explained Catch Me Outside, like, will you have her on your show? And he said no. So it shows that, I guess, some people have a little bit of standard. Some people are like, look, man, this is. I'm not trying to diss Catch Me Outside girl because I don't know how she is in reality. I'm not sure how much of it is an act.
I don't know. Maybe,
but I'm
there's always a part of you who's like, maybe she's just faking this.
It's just such a talking point for me because this is how it is nowadays, man. This is how it is. Like, you make something that's iconic, and then you make $1 million off T-shirts, and then you have people following your every move forever, and you're a 13-year-old girl, and you walk around with security guards. Crazy. And people are drawn on the internet, man. Like, people are like, dude, she's so hot. She's 13.
Bro.
Unless you're a 13-year-old kid and you're saying that, it's weird.
Okay, that's fine. If you're 13, go ahead.
It's weird.
Do your thing. But if you're 23 or 33,
right.
No, don't do that. No.
She's 13 years old, and she has gold teeth.
She got gold teeth?
Yeah. No, what? Not gold. She has a grill. She has. You don't see that? That's like her thing. She's like, yo, go to this.
Is grills still like the only person I can think of that still has grills is either Pitbull or Lil Jon. But everybody else, like, I'm pretty sure that's a fad that's out.
Right. And what I want to know is if she is real, what kind of influence turned her into the person she is?
Oh yeah, on their show she's like, the streets made me. I'm like, what streets?
What streets?
What streets?
Sesame Street? You're 50 years old. Right.
Like,
what street?
We're from Philadelphia, and like we don't see, like, we do see people crazy as you, but they're not doing what you're doing.
Totally, man. I don't know. Catch Me Outside girl is.
I mean, if you look at the famous people that came from Philadelphia, those people were renowned and well educated. Kevin Hart, Will Smith, Bill Cosby, Bradley Cooper, all those people.
Well, I feel like the reason that she is so famous is it's ironically, I think we've kind of demonstrated it. Like, it's such a spectacle. Like, you and I are completely baffled. Right. Like, we're talking about it right now.
We're like scientists, like discovering like some strange species.
But think about it. Our befuddlement over this, and I think that's the correct word, over this conundrum, which is Catch Me Outside girl, is the reason why she's so famous. Because people are so blown away that somebody like this.
I think the blowing away part is making her famous.
Exactly. That's what I'm getting to. Is like the notoriety, the fact that someone like her can gain notoriety, just completely is such a talking point, and so many people are talking about it. That's why she's so famous. Like us as a culture, even though this has happened before, we're still in disbelief that like wildfire spreads like this. What was the person? Okay, that's the guy I was thinking about. Antoine Dobson, I think that's his name is. He's climbing in your window, snatching your people up.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, that guy.
Hide your kids, hide your wife.
Hide your kids, hide your wife. Didn't that guy? He got loaded, right? They just came in and took him and put him on different stuff.
What's his name again? Antoine.
And I don't know how to spell his name. Antoine Dobson.
Dobson.
Dodson. Raping everybody out here, guy. Whatever. He's a prime example of that. Here's somebody that was on television, and somebody was like, "This is some crazy stuff." And then lawyers get involved, and they're like, "Hey, man, what you said can be a song."
Apparently, he went to college.
Really?
Virginia College.
Oof.
Which is it's a local city college in Birmingham.
Huh.
Is he really an internet sensation? Is he really like this?
That's a big question. Is anyone really?
Yeah, apparently this guy
is educated.
No, he apparently is like this
crazy dude.
This crazy dude. He really is this ghetto crazy dude. Because the thing is, this was actually I thought it was some parody video when that first came out. This came out years ago.
Yeah.
So I thought it was some parody. No, it was actually an actual reporter from NBC, from their local news network, from the local town.
Yeah.
Interviewed him, and he's actually this way.
Oh yes, yeah.
And then somebody took his interview, literally threw it into auto-tune song.
Yeah.
Auto-tuned it, and dude became famous. Even what gets me mad is people actually invest in this guy. Like if I was a producer or director and I see this guy, I was like, why would I put him in a movie? Tyler Perry puts him in a movie.
Here's the problem I have with it. And that's a really good point. The problem I have with it is the guy, like you just said, there was some dude that turned that into a song. We'll never know who that dude is. We'll never know who the dude is that first introduced that to the internet.
Right, that song,
that guy never becomes famous.
Right, that song could have been uploaded on miniclip.com.
Right. And
some idiot just downloaded it and just threw it up on Facebook.
Right. Maybe the person that makes the auto-tune, they get a bunch of subscribers, but the guy who makes the first meme and passes it around, whoever reposted Cash Me Outside Girl for the first time, are they as famous as Cash Me Outside?
Meme people, there's these famous Instagram meme accounts that we all follow. I follow them too, the Quan.
Yeah, F Jerry. Funny Blacks.
The Fat Jew. There is Hood Comedy.
Sorry Not Sorry is another one. Of course, World Star. There's so many.
There's Tyrone.
Dude, I love him. My goal at Temple, and this is the one thing in senior year I didn't do that I really wanted to do really bad, because he used to come to Temple all the time, was to be in one of his videos. It never happened. I wish, dude, that I could be in one of his videos.
What's crazy is he does that video, he goes up to a random girl and says I'm gonna do this to you in front of their boy or their husband, and what's funny is he's not actually serious.
Yeah.
But what's crazy was, and the people know him so much that they let it slide because the thing is they know he's faking it because he's a famous internet.
Some people,
but some people didn't know about that. I saw a video where this couple didn't know about it, and the guy got mad.
Oh, there's so many. There's so many.
Many guys.
I can show you a bunch of where they didn't know he was kidding. For a lot of them, their promos and the person knows he's joking.
So have you met Tyrone before?
No, but I've seen in his videos Temple campus. So he goes to the main campus to make these videos sometimes.
Do you know Ed Bassmaster?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
You know I met him, right?
Yeah, he was local. A lot of people met him.
Yeah, I met him. I was on his Snapchat, and then I have a friend that actually films with him now.
Yeah, dude.
The guy I was telling about, Drew, the rapper.
Oh, okay.
He also is a film producer. He does films for people.
Nice.
It's a freelancer, so he's filming for Ed Bassmaster. So, which is really cool.
Yeah,
so,
he's a funny guy, man. The video that he made where, it's the dead face prank or a scary face prank, man, something like that. Where he's at a job interview and he keeps making this face. That's one of the best videos ever. It's one of my favorite viral videos ever.
I met him at my work. He came into my work. I was just working.
That's awesome.
And I looked out the window. I was about to leave, and I looked at the window. I was like, "Oh my god, you're Ed Bassmaster." It's like, "Yeah, want to get my snap?" I was like, "Sure."
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, man, that's living the life. So I don't know. I think that's a good conclusion for our episode, man. So if you want to plug anything you're doing, you can. If you don't have anything going on, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, the website's up. Everybody's hitting me up. For those who are listening, if you want, my thing is as a photographer, if you hit me up through Instagram, or basically if you approach me Obviously you're gonna be charged for my services, but this is kind of for those lucky people that's watching. If this is me approaching you, if you would like a free photo shoot, just hit me up on Instagram at josephmediahouse.com. Let me know that you watched this episode, and then I'll come in contact with you, and I'll give you a free photo shoot.
Oh, snap.
I shoot every Saturday. I've been booked for like the past 2 months, bro. It's crazy.
It's awesome.
But
so cool.
Yeah. So this is your chance to get a free photo shoot. You get all digital copies of it. All that fun stuff. Bring your friends. If you want to, for a private party, go ahead. Private party for anniversaries, weddings. Well, maybe not weddings, but if you want your own portfolio, business stock, whatever you need, just this is your chance of getting a free photo shoot, stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much it.
Jay does it all. JosephMediaHouse.com. Graphic designer, photographer, entrepreneur, great friend, and great partner in Andrewcast.
All right, bro.
This is it, man. We out.
Later.